cannot help but wonder how Thunderfoot feels about Shawn right now. Because after all, he was the person who, back then, did have Shawn over a barrel. He could have insisted that Shawn would take down his YouTube account and not show his face on this site for at least a year or so. But Thunderfoot is too kind a man to do that. He is not vindictive, so he decided to accept the apology that Shawn gave him. An apology that anybody who watched it and anybody who saw it could see for themselves was completely insincere and only drawn out of him through coercion, a threat of legal action against him. And now in hindsight, maybe that is exactly what should have been done to Shawn, because Shawn is clearly completely incapable of figuring out morality for himself. This is not just witnessed by his latest actions here on YouTube, but also clearly witnessed by how he still approaches, the possibility that atheists could be moral, and how, like Big Jerry before him, and plenty of other crazed, lunatic Christian fundamentalists before him, he sits there quite happily making statements such as saying that if you didn't have God to give you an absolute morality that you would have to accept without question, we would all go around just killing each other, or there would be at least nothing stopping us from killing each other. Fact is that most people who do not believe in Shawn's God still refrain from killing each other, even though plenty of them are plenty clever enough to do so without being detected. Committing the perfect crime isn't as hard as you might think, people. But why don't we do it? Not because somebody dictates to us that we cannot do it, and not even because we are afraid of retribution, but because it feels wrong. And the complete inability, the complete inability of people like Shawn to understand that some people feel it in their gut that certain actions are morally wrong, shows us that he is lacking in that capacity. Same as Big Jerry before him, and now Shawn himself. He actually indicates to us that he has himself the mindset of a psychopath. Now in the case of Big Jerry, there is reason for doubt, because Big Jerry has shown himself in recent times to maybe not be quite as crazy as he seemed at first, although it still remains to be seen whether he is really able to make that leap. And I don't mean making the leap from Christianity to atheism. I wouldn't want that to happen. I do not want him to lose the faith that means so much to him. But I just mean the leap that takes him from condemning anybody who is not like him to accepting that the other person's life choices are right for them, even if they wouldn't be right for him. And I do not think Big Jerry has made that leap. But we're not talking about Big Jerry, we're talking about Venom Fang X, we're talking about Shawn. And he clearly hasn't made that leap. And he clearly has a sociopathic mindset. And that is witnessed with all his actions on YouTube. The boy simply does not have a conscience. He does not even understand that anything he does is wrong, let alone why it would be wrong, the sort of emotions that the things he does engenders in other people. He genuinely thinks that we do not like him because he's a Christian and because of the message that he's preaching. Far from it. It's the mind-numbing hypocrisy with which he does so that is the problem. He says that he blocks people and he stops people from replying to his channel, and he deletes comments and all that, and people complain about that. But he has a perfect right to do so. The functionality is given to YouTubers to deal with people who are abusive or whatnot. He has a perfect right to use that functionality any way he sees fit. Where the problem lies is not the fact that he does it. The problem is how he does it. In the case of his blocking and his removal of comments and all that stuff, it is the fact that he seeks to justify these actions by leveling accusations against other people. For example, Thunderfoot. He is actually, attributing guilt by association to Thunderfoot, claiming that he was somehow involved in information about his family being made public and his family being put at risk. That is why people are so adamantly opposed to what Venomfangax does on this channel. It's the fact that he doesn't shy away from leveling false accusations, trying to steer the attention away from the fact that what he's doing is unjustifiable. And the same is going on for this charity debacle that he's now involved in. It is not the fact that he sat there in front of a camera begging for money that is the problem. If he had done exactly that, if he had actually sat in front of a camera and just said, lads, I've lost my job, I am accustomed to a certain level of comfort, my dad will only support me to this level and I need that much more, can somebody financially help me out? I am going to use this money just to keep myself in the luxury to which I have become accustomed. Nobody could have done anything about it. Nobody could have blamed him for it. They might have said, like, haven't you got any pride sitting there begging for money? But if anybody had then chosen to send money to him, that would have been out of their own volition and he would have been perfectly entitled to accept such donations. But no, he said he would accept $500 and donate everything over and above that to charity, to the hospital for sick children in Toronto, to be precise. And then he went and reneged on his promise. And that is what the problem is here. Not the fact that people are donating money to him, the fact that he lied about what he was going to do with that money, and then shows absolutely no remorse for what he has done. And this is a person who has the affront to sit there and tell everybody who is not of his own little clique that they have no morals. Can you believe that?